Hello, everybody, and welcome to the most cursed tournament tactician to date, where you get Boulevard fresh off of walking back from the dentist in 90-degree heat where half of my face is still numb with Novocaine. I don't think that's wearing off anytime soon, but I think I skipped last set's week 1 tier list, so I wanted to do one this time around and not make a habit of missing out on week 1, because there are some cool updates. However, most of what I've done to the tier list is just kind of adjust it based off of what happened at the seasonal. Because there were some things that I got pretty wrong, like Bard Poppy completely fell off a cliff to the point where I don't even think it's like tier 3. I think it's more in the filler section now. We might see it come back, we might not, but there's just a lot of shiny new toys right now, and I don't expect Bard Poppy to be making a splash in the tournament scene. Bardari and Alawi Bard both conglomerated into tier 2. Bard Alawi seemed to be the most popular Bard variant, and really took over the Poppy spot, and then Ari Bard I think is still just in like a pretty fine spot, but I'm not sure that I would necessarily call it tier 1, for a lot of the reasons that Majin Bey outlined in his article. I think the deck is like fine, I think it's okay, but we'll see how the meta shifts, because what we're kind of doing for week 1 is just kind of inserting the new decks into the tier list, without having too much info on the kind of impact that they're going to make. Now, there's no big tournament this weekend, but I know that there's a lot of smaller tournaments that people just participate in, so I wanted to get sort of my thoughts documented, as well as a video out, so that the people that are playing in those smaller tournaments know what Boulevard thinks. So, nothing's really changed up on the top end here. Winding Light, PNZ, TF Nami Thralls, and then Papercraft Auction kind of moved up. Most people still on the Renekton version, Gnar better in the mirror, so on and so forth. That's your old guard, the things from the last meta that people are still playing on ladder and kicking your ass with, right? The new stuff, really the only new champion deck that seems to be performing in a way that shows some longevity, is Kai'Sa Auction, which is just kind of the new take on Sivir Auction Demacia. Obviously, it plays some cool new Kai'Sa cards. Kai'Sa does a lot of cool things, but for the most part, the general play style is going to be similar to what we're used to seeing out of Sivir Demacia. Sharp Sight is currently bugged. It works with Kai'Sa and like it progresses her level up. That's confirmed a bug by the devs, confirmed getting fixed next patch. But there are a lot of bugs this set that I will call you out for abusing. This one, like, that's not a bug abuse. Like, you're gonna Sharp Sight shit, right? And it's just gonna happen. Like, you're playing a fucking Demacia deck. You're gonna play Sharp Sight, and that's gonna level your Kai'Sa. Voidling is, if you don't trust on the Voidling, trust it. This thing's kind of cracked just in terms of leveling the Kai'Sa, because Kai'Sa doesn't really do much unless she's leveled. Outside of that, as you can see, kind of standard Sivir Demacia type units. I grabbed this list off of ladder. None of the lists really look the same. People are still kind of changing around some stuff. Like Supercharge, I think, is a very good card. I don't know if it's necessarily a 3 of. Void Abomination, I don't even know is necessarily a 1 of. Like, people really like this card, but I feel like we probably are going to phase out of this just because 8 mana is a lot for a 7/6, even if it's got Keyword Soup. Like, if you don't have Lifesteal, it's probably not going to, like, bring you back into the game. I'm not convinced on the Void Abomination. I think people are just kind of playing this because it's, you know, week 1. There might even just be better options, like the new 8 mana Demacia guy that gives your Nexus and all your units tough. I would almost probably prefer in some metas over the Void Abomination, but we'll see how that all actually kind of pans out. Yasuo is actually showing some promise. It's even like the original pairing of the 2 worst champions in the game, Yasuo Katarina. And it's really just Windswept Hillock doing a lot of work. The ability to stun the enemy's strongest unit on your attack turn is kind of insane. And it's also when you gain the attack token. So Katarina is going to continuously give you an attack token. You're going to stun out multiple units. And you can actually end the game pretty quickly. That's why we even see them playing stuff like Might in a list like this. And then Strategic Execution. I don't know if this one's going to stick around. I haven't really played this deck myself. But 4 mana stun 2 enemies is pretty good. So yeah. Yasuo Katarina, I believe, will actually stick around. I think this deck is real. I don't think we've seen any real Evelynn decks. I don't think we've seen any real Gwen decks, but Gwen, I think, is a little bit more difficult to figure out. I wouldn't be surprised if sometime down the line, somebody builds a Gwen deck and, like, it's not great, but it is built differently from other Gwen decks, and that kind of, like, clicks something for all the other deck builders out there, and they go, oh shit, that's how we're supposed to be building Gwen. And then we get an influx of Gwen decks. Maybe it'll be flavor of the wiki, maybe it'll actually stick around, who knows. Evelynn, no hope for really on my end. Not every champion can be a winner, but Kai'Sa is really cool and people are liking her. I also think that Kai'Sa Victor has a lot of potential, but I'm not sure that Kai'Sa Victor is so good that you want to be putting Zoe back into your Winding Light and then playing Kai'Sa Victor. Although you could. Like, it's not bad, right? You could play the Zoe version. A lot of people do. But I think Kai'Sa Akshan might just be more consistent and better. But hey, you know, Mystic Shot's a hell of a card as we keep learning. And then Bard Vi, not on the tier list. Obviously, Trevo won the seasonal with it. And I actually think that a lot of people are sleeping on, or not even necessarily sleeping on, but I don't think it's getting nearly as much play as it should, is Scavenged Cam Cloaker. So I like this in Winding Light, especially if you're on the Victor Vi version, because like it actually turns your Victor into a threat without like sitting there and needing to wait to roll elusive. But also, I'm fine throwing this on like an Aphelios or a Sump Dredger and just drawing cards off of it. This card is in a completely different league than Sumpwork maps, literally incomparable. But I think that a card like this actually could put Bard Vi in an excellent position. I think this card is extremely strong. Maybe I'm overhyping it. Who knows? But you know, time will tell, I guess. But I'm very big on this card right now. I like it as a one-of in Winding Light. In Bard Vi, I would probably play like 2, maybe even 3. And I think that might actually be something that brings the deck more to the forefront of the meta. Week 1, we're just kind of inserting the... And then obviously, like, Zero Rally got a lot of cool new buffs, so now this does more than just beat Thralls. But these are the 3 decks that I believe in, that are showing the most promise week 1. I don't think I've actually seen a Gwen or Evelyn deck that has above a 50% win rate. Evelyn even managed to drag Kai'Sa into the gutter. That deck is the most played deck and has like a 43% win rate. Which the stats aren't everything, but if your deck can't even win a coin flip, how's it supposed to win a game of Runeterra? But that's about it. Just wanted to insert the new decks, show you the adjustments from the last patch, and then understand that once we actually get some tournaments going, that will give us a better idea of how these decks impact the meta, and then they can sort of move accordingly. But for now, we're just kind of in a bit of a lull state. The next seasonal is actually pretty soon. It's in about a month. It's on the 27th and 28th of August, which means our seasonal patch should be either in 2 weeks or 4 weeks. If it's in 4 weeks, then you've only got a week and a half till the seasonal. It is what it is. But everything we do before the seasonal patch is kind of whatever. So take this all as kind of whatever. It's not a lot of stakes. No big tournaments this weekend. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. As always, my name is Boulevard. Good luck in your tournaments.